Me during this video presentation. In this video, I will be sharing with families the basics of Google Classroom and Google Meet for you to be able to support your child during this virtual learning time. Google Classroom is a virtual classroom where a teacher can share external links, post assignments, quizzes, and homework to be able to be completed. They can also teach in real time, meaning that they can see the students and the students can see the teacher. For example, if the teacher is reading a book and would like to display it on the screen, she is able to do that along with sharing her screen to the students. It's great to see their smiling faces during this time apart. I'll be completely honest, for this process is still a learning experience for us all, including teachers, students, parents, and even school administrators. At times, it's intimidating, seems like a big task, and just overwhelming. But what's important is that together we can navigate the basics and not be left out. There's still a way to stay actively engaged in your child's education during this digital classroom platform setting. Let's get started. Two very important things that you're seeing on the screen, and I am circling at the moment, is Google Classroom. This is an icon and usually the picture that students will see and recognize when the teacher says, "Go to Google Classroom and do your assignments." Another important icon or picture is Google Meet. Here on the top right, we can see the Google Meet icon picture. But there's also another picture that is being used, which is this one on the bottom with the different colors, which is another Google Meet icon. These little squares here is known as the Google waffle. There are 9 little squares, and it gives the illusion of a waffle that we will have for breakfast. So when you hear your child say, "Oh, the teacher said go to the waffle," that's what they mean. So this is the Google Apps icon where they can find a lot of different applications that the teachers are using. Where can we find this? Right on the Google page, there's going to be the little waffle icon on the top right. Once you press it, you will see options such as this. Your child's account, that for right now as an example is the letter J. If your child's name starts with an A, like Anna, it will be an A. If it's Leo, it will be an L, and so on. Sometimes there is no letter and a picture, and you will see that on mine, for I have a picture for my account. Again, here on the waffle, you can see the classroom icon, the Google Drive, which is kind of like the hub and the center where everything is stored and students can access all of their work there. Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, their calendar, their Google Meet, and so much more. How do we get there? We can open up any web browser. This could be such as Safari right down here, or even Google Chrome. We do recommend that if you're going to use Google Classroom, to use Google Chrome. And most, if not all, of the Chromebooks are supported by Google Chrome. If you're using a computer at home or a laptop or even your phone, you can have Safari or Firefox or any other type of internet service. Right on here, we're going to go to the search engine, so where we will write our website. So here we're going to write google.com. As you can see, I've been into Google before, so it's going to register. But if it hasn't on your computer, that's okay. Also, another important question is that I know back in the day, www.google.com was always necessary to open a page. But now you don't need the www. And I'll give you an example of that as well. You could just write google.com and it takes you straight to it. So we wrote google.com and now we're going to press enter. Now that we've pressed enter, I'm always going to see a different picture here in this section. And this picture is going to be changed daily. So if you're trying this a month later or even a few weeks, this picture won't be the same, but you're in the right place. Don't worry. On the top right, we're going to see Gmail, images, the famous waffle, and sign in. We're going to go to sign in. Once we hit sign in, a new page is going to open. And it's going to ask me for my account information. In this case, my information is saved and I can write it right in there, or you can write yours. For example, your child's login information might be their student ID number. Let's say their student ID number is 100745 at the school that the child goes to. It could be North Center School District .org or whatever it may be. This is just all for example purposes, but please make sure that you have your child's email address, which is usually their account information for their school. If you don't know it, please make sure to contact their school teacher or even the secretary at their school, and they'll be able to give you that information. So once I put in that information, I am going to hit next. And when I hit next, now Google is going to change. And see how it's the same Google information and page, but here on the right, you see my picture. And on my picture, you're going to see all of my Google apps once I press the famous waffle. So the Google apps, also referred to as the waffle, is right here. Here you can see everything that I can access. So there's a lot of different applications and a lot such as YouTube that's linked to my Google account and everything else that I'll need. So I'm going to go into Google Classroom because that's what we need to do today. Let's say today is 9 in the morning and I have to go into my class for Miss Julia. So I'm going to click on Classroom. And now I am here in my class for Miss Julia. Excuse me, just for 1 second. Whoops. Let me do it this way. Gonna go to Classroom and Miss Julia's class. Right here, I can see Miss Julia's class. By pressing Miss Julia's class, I can see her name. I can see the meet link. This means that every day when I meet with her at the time on my schedule, I need to come right in here. Once I'm here, I can press the link. And this is Google Meet, where I will see my teacher. Right here, I can see my teacher. I'm going to make sure that my camera is always on. If I have to quickly run to the bathroom or if I have to do something that I don't want my teacher to see me just for like a second or two, I'm going to press the red. I'm going to press the camera that's going to turn red. The camera now is off and I can see that there is a line going across the camera and it's a red circle. If I need to be quiet for a minute, I'm going to do the same to the little microphone button and I'm going to go on mute. Now I'm ready to be in the class, so I'm going to keep my mute button on, but I'm going to turn my camera on. I'm going to turn my camera on because I want to make sure that my teacher can know that I'm here. Sometimes I might not understand something, I might need to raise my hand, Or my face expressions can let my teacher know that I'm not understanding what the lesson is about. It's also just good etiquette to be able to see each other. So once I press join now, I can see the information here to the left about this call. My teacher will be joining me soon. I am right here, or maybe she's already in the classroom along with my students, because this is an example. I can't see all of my friends that are in the classroom or the teacher, but just myself. On the bottom right, I can see this little box with a little bit of a triangle and lines. That box is known as the chat. Once I press the chat, I can write to my teacher. So, for example, I need help. I don't understand. And I'm going to send that to her. So it says you because I'm the one writing, but the teacher's going to see my name. So she's going to be like, oh, Anna, at 3:06, you said that you needed help and you don't understand. The teacher can also put a link and say, oh, how about you go back to the lesson from yesterday, and she can send me the link. I'm going to give just a quick example of what that link is going to be like, and then we're going to return to that homework assignment that you saw. So the teacher can go ahead and put a link, and I'm going to be able to click on that link to take me to the assignment that I need to review or to whatever the teacher might want to share. So please make sure and remember that if you are at home and you hear the teacher in the background talking to your child saying, please check the chat box, please click on the link, that link is going to appear in the chat section. And again, that's on the bottom right. This changes, and it actually changed not too long ago, but this is the newest version of Google with the Google Meet. But it's always going to look something like that. A feature that I love about technology nowadays is that if we hover just about on top of anything, it's going to give you options so you can see what that is. So for example, this is chat with everyone. This one to the left with the little icon of the people says show everyone, meeting details, and so on. If I want to raise my hand and be able to speak, remember that because some teachers have too many students in their classrooms, it's a lot of little boxes that sometimes they can't see everyone. Doesn't mean that the teacher's ignoring them. She's not able to see them at the moment. But this little tool here that is raise hand, we can press it, and the teacher knows that I have a question. And then she might say, Anna, do you have a question? And then I'm going to take my microphone off and be able to speak to the teacher. She can hear me, and so can all of my other classmates. I'm going to turn my microphone off. Also, by turning the microphone off, this helps because there is always a lot of echo and background noises that may make it hard for other students to be able to hear clearly. And it can also be a distraction. There's also a captions option on that. Once we turn it on, everything that the other person is saying, in this case it doesn't help for me, but if there was somebody else there, on the bottom in that black section you can see all of the words. So it's kind of like when you're watching a movie and the subtitles. So we're going to go here to the hang up button in red, and I'm going to leave this Google Meet. So that's Google Meet. Simple. And I'm going to hit again, end the call. And I'm going to close that out right up here on the X. So let's go back to Miss Julia's class. So again, I already know that the Meet link is how I can go in to see Miss Julia teaching her class. Here is the stream, which is where the teacher is going to put announcements, assignments, anything else important, kind of like a bulletin board. Here I see that Miss Julia said, don't forget, there's a Google Meet parent workshop at 2 o'clock. She even added the link, which is perfect because as you can see, I could click on it and it takes me straight to the meeting. Again, I can put my microphone on, have my camera on, and just hit join to be part of the meeting. And now I'm in the meeting. Because this is an example and I need to close out, what do? Remember, right on the bottom, the red hang up button and end the call. So back to Miss Julia's class. She also gave me the option of calling and dialing in. This option, for example, I can be a parent and I am not by a computer. Oh, I don't have access to a computer, or my Wi-Fi right now is not working. I can always just pick up my phone, either my cell phone or my landline, any phone, and just dial this phone number down here. So 413-471-2138. Once I dial that, it's going to take me into the Google Meet option, and it's going to say, please enter your PIN. I am going to put the PIN number, which is 801-400-041, and press the hashtag or pound. Once that happens, I'm going to go into the Google Meet. Yes, even without my face, even without having the video option, I can still be part of a Google meeting by just dialing that phone number. It's pretty cool. All right, so let's keep moving down. Here I see that Miss Julia wrote, remember to study for your quiz. Please make sure to remind your parents to check Class Dojo for the upcoming parent-teacher conferences. A lot of information. I can also write to Miss Julia if I have a question. Now, I'm going to add class comment, meaning that everyone's going to be able to see this comment. But it's okay, because I want my friends to also know what I'm asking. It might be helpful for them too. So let me go ahead and say, I don't remember what the quiz is on. So I'm going to write, what will the quiz be on again? And then I'm going to hit the arrow to post this comment. And once Miss Julia sees it, she'll get back to me. Another important thing, and again, all of these announcements are here. And for your students, it may be more than that. Again, this is just an example. I'm going to go into classwork. This is what's important for parents when they want to see if their child has been completing their work. How do we do that? Simple. We hit classwork. Once we hit classwork, I can see all of the assignments here that the student has to complete. Let's go into what I miss most about school. That's an assignment that I need to do for Miss Julia. If I go into View Assignments, I am going to see this option. Ugh, I don't want to do this. It's just not interesting. My mom's never going to find out. So let me just mark it as done. Yep, that little message came up, but I'm going to mark it as done. Here it says it was turned in. So although I didn't even open the assignment to do it, I can show mom and dad that I did it. It says turned in. Look, mom. But guess what? I can send a private comment to Miss Julia. You as the parent can say, Miss Julia, did Anna turn in her assignment? And now Miss Julia is going to see that comment and she can write back to me. And then once I get home from work, I can say, hey, Anna, let me check on that assignment and see what the teacher said. Maybe the teacher will go ahead and call me, but it's just a very nice way to be able to communicate with the teacher privately. The student can also unsubmit the assignment if they hit turn in by mistake. And once they unsubmit it, you have all of the options again. So I'm going to click on the assignment. And now this is going to open up a Google slide. Google Slide is basically PowerPoint, but through Google. This is the assignment that the teacher did. So it says what I miss most about school. I see here on the left, there's 4 slides that usually have more to do with the assignment that I have to complete. When I press number 2, I see here, says follow along with this fun story to create your own story in the next slide. If you take a mouse to school, I see here that this is a video. There's a triangle and a circle, and I can hit play. Now, your child is supposed to be in the room doing homework, but you walk by and you hear a video. Just turning it down a bit. You hear that your child is watching a video, and it's YouTube. What? Anna, I told you to do your homework. Why are you on YouTube watching a video? Reading Pioneer. I'm going to put pause just to make sure that my voice can be heard. So it's important to know that although, yes, YouTube is a website that students use a lot just to look at fun things or games or entertain themselves with other stuff, please note that there are teachers that do use YouTube for their lessons. Sometimes there's a math problem that is taught a different way that they think might be helpful for a student to learn how to do, or in this case, a story that has to do with the lesson. So although the child is on YouTube, it's okay. It's part of their learning. So you'll see that the YouTube video will play here. And this is actually a book that's going to be read for the student. So it's part of the lesson. Once the book is done, and I, as the student, for example, have finished it, now I can go back to the left to slide number 3. Here on slide number 3, the teacher put an example. For example, do you miss art class, gym, classroom activities? Now I'm thinking. Again, this is all homework and things that I'm doing on my own, or maybe after school or with the teacher. Here in this space, it says, in the space below, share what you miss most about school. Feel free to use pictures along with your writing. Okay, so here I am going to write, again, for the sake of this video and time, I am just going to write any gibberish. And I am all done. So now, up here, we can see that this was saved in the drive. Last edit was seconds ago. So this is already saved. There is no file to save button. It just automatically saves in the system. Don't worry, it's there. So I'm going to close it out. I had it open from before, but I'm going to close it out. And now that I have completed this, I am going to mark as done again, and it says that it has been turned in. So the teacher already got my assignment. All right, one homework assignment done for today. Let me go back now. Back to Miss Julia's class. Now that I've hit her name, I'm back on the stream. But again, I want to go into classwork because that's where my assignments are in. As you can see, this is now gray and not in purple, indicating that it needs to be complete. And it says turn in right here on the top right. Now my next assignment is summer reading list. Let's click, it says assigned, meaning that this teacher has assigned that assignment to be completed. And I am going to do this homework as well. Again, this is Google Sheet, which will be the equivalent to Excel. And here I started doing it, but I didn't finish it. So on number 3, let me see. Okay, I want to read Charlotte's Web, and that's by E.B. White. So E.B. White. I am going to, this is just something that came up in my computer. If it does come up on yours, you can go to upgrade or dismiss. Right now I'm going to dismiss because I'm not going to upgrade right now, but you can follow that along. Last edit was 1 hour ago because I was working on this an hour ago. But see how when I switched it, it says last edit was seconds ago. So now I know that this is good to go. And I can close it out because everything is saved and the teacher's going to see my work. So I'm going to go to view assignments and I'm back on this page. It was assigned. I know I completed because I just did it, but let's say I'm not sure. It's okay. We can open it again. I can see that it is all here. My 3 books that I'll be reading this summer. I'm going to close it out. And I'm back here on the list of assignments. I'm going to press mark as done. Mark as done again. And now it says turned in. Back to Miss Julia's class. Back to classwork. And now it's in gray because I have completed it. The addition quiz is assigned, something else that I have to do. So let's recap a little bit. You just got home from work. You're checking your child's homework, their assignments, just seeing how everything went. All they have to do is just go into their classroom, hit classwork, and right here at a glance, you can see everything that they still have to do. So you can say, hey, Anna, I saw that you did the summer reading list and what I miss most about school, but you still have to do the quiz and the local summer fun. Again, to do that, let's say they want to work on local summer fun first. Hit local summer fun. Teacher wrote some instruction here. View assignment, and all of the detail is here. You can also see the due date, April 19th. You can open the assignment to do the assignment, which is on Google Docs, which is the equivalent to Microsoft Word. And here's where I'm going to write for my assignment. So writing the homework, ... just to give you an idea of what it is. And again, last edit was seconds ago. I can close it out. Mark as done. Yes, mark as done. And it was turned into my teacher. So again, that homework assignment is complete. Now it's just a quiz that has to be done. And we're all done for today. We can also see Google Calendar, which is where we'll be able to see everything that has to do with the student and any other information. That is it for today, and thank you so much for joining us.